We've talked about styling specific elements like this, and then we've also talked about styling classes. You can also style based on ID. An ID is similar to a class, except each element is only going to have one ID. Classes you can put on a lot of different elements. So let me show you how to apply an ID to an element. If I just go down to this form here, and I'm just going to put ID equals cat photo form. And just like that, it's not going to change the appearance at all because we haven't styled it yet. But now we can use the ID to add CSS styles, or we can reference it in JavaScript. In the last section, we learned about IDs. Now we're going to learn about styling IDs. I'll use this H2 as an example and add an ID of heading. When you're styling IDs, it's similar to when you're styling classes, but we are going to use a hash mark instead of a period. So I'm going to put heading here. Let me format this a little better. So you can see normally for the class, it starts with a period. For an ID, it's going to start with a hash mark. So I am going to put color green. Now, I want to show you something. So you can see that this H2 has a class of red text and a heading, and an ID of heading. So we have the red text and the heading. So is it going to be red or is it going to be green? Well, let's open the browser and find out here. You can see it is green because CSS puts a higher priority to IDs than classes. And as a reminder, you should only have one ID per element. We already have the ID down here on the form, ID of cat photo form. And so now I'm going to change this. Instead of heading, it's going to say cat photo form. And then for color, we're going to, instead of color green, it's going to be background color green. And now I'm just going to refresh that. And if I go down here to the form, you can see it's green in the background.